Today we are going to a country in Southeast Asia that many of us may not be aware is a dictatorship governed by Islamic laws. In other words, Brunei is a small monarchy located in Southeast Asia on the island of Borneo. Being an island nation, its only neighbor is Malaysia, with whom it shares very close beliefs and governance styles. They even speak Malay in this country. Brunei spans an area of 5,700 square kilometers. If we say that the small country of Brunei is one of the 15 wealthiest countries in the world, what would be your natural reaction? Naturally, their wealth is not due to production and development. Geographically, they are very fortunate, and the island they are located on is considered a paradise in terms of oil and gas reserves. The reason for their wealth is entirely related to these limited resources. Only 450,000 people live in this country, and that's why the Sultan of Brunei, with the abundant income at his disposal, has a great interest in gold-plated items and builds palaces in various parts of the country. Like Thailand and Vietnam, which are located nearby, Brunei does not follow a natural course of life because there is a dictatorship system here, and all the country's affairs are controlled by one person. The Sultan of Brunei manages the entire country like a family-owned company. Moreover, both he and his children crave attention, especially the Sultan's son, who is very famous on social media and will inherit the leadership of the country after his father's death. On the other hand, whenever the father and son attend any event, the city comes to a standstill, and the people of that area gather to show respect to the Sultan. For example, every year on the Sultan's birthday, celebrations take place in the country like a festival. And these celebrations continue for 15 consecutive days. Yellow banners are hung in shops with sentences expressing love and respect for the Sultan. Since 2019, the Sultan of Brunei has been governing the country entirely based on Sharia law and strictly prohibits the use of alcoholic beverages. You won't even find a place to sell cigarettes in this country. Additionally, Brunei has facilitated visa issuance for citizens of other countries. Upon entering Bandar Seri Begawan, the capital of Brunei, the first thing that catches your eye is the excessive cleanliness of the city, similar to Singapore and Dubai. Luxury cars are seen on the streets, and there is not a single piece of litter in the alleys. There is a unique bridge in the country that connects the two parts of its territory, because the space between these two parts belongs to Malaysia. The wealth of this country began to grow in 1929 with the discovery of its first oil wells. At that time, due to a lack of extraction capabilities, it relied on assistance from the British and Dutch oil company, namely Shell, to extract its first oil. Today, it continues to collaborate with Shell. In commemoration of the first day of oil extraction at that well site, a memorial structure has been erected. Nowadays, when you travel to this country, instead of tourist beaches, you will see oil rigs. According to official data, this country has 1 billion barrels of oil reserves. Of course, this figure is not comparable to the 300 billion barrels of oil reserves in Venezuela, but it is sufficient for the enrichment of this small country. This country was under British colonial rule for 100 years. In 1984, it managed to achieve independence, and the wealth of the country reached the king. Today, the personal assets of the Brunei king are estimated to be around $30 billion. For example, this palace amidst the jungle, built with a capital of nearly $1.4 billion, features domes entirely covered in gold. The Brunei king resides here, and among world leaders, it is the most expensive palace belonging to him. However, the people have the opportunity to enter this palace during the month of Ramadan for 3 days and observe it up close. Currently, this king owns the world's largest automobile collection, many of which are custom-made to his specifications. The people of Brunei are a nation formed from a combination of Malaysian and Chinese peoples, with the majority being Muslim and Sunni. Healthcare services in this country are completely free for citizens. Here, business owners are not taxed. The income from oil and gas is so abundant that the government does not need taxes to run the country. Additionally, they do not pay for education. Perhaps it is due to such services that the people of Brunei do not protest against the luxurious life of their king. Freshwater sources in this country are limited, with each liter of freshwater being more expensive than a liter of gasoline. Meanwhile, a liter of mineral water costs around $1. The people here purchase gasoline at 1/5 of this price. On the other hand, Brunei is known as a country of peace and friendship. The reason for this is that the daily lives of the people are very calm. The country has a framework, and nobody moves beyond it. In other words, anyone who intends to live in this country, whether they like it or not, must accept the living conditions imposed on them. When the king announced the Islamic nature of this country to the world in 2019, many countries severed their ties with Brunei. One reason we don't hear much about this country is that, like North Korea, it has a closed-off atmosphere and doesn't establish much communication with the outside world. The currency of this country is the Brunei dollar. They mostly trade with regional countries such as the Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia. They also do not face significant issues in terms of food supply because the staple food of these people is rice, which is abundantly cultivated in this region. Even their most famous dishes consist mainly of rice and chicken. In most of their meals, rice is a key ingredient, alongside sugar and eggs. In this country, a specific rural lifestyle is not observed. Those who wish to experience rural life live in wooden houses built on rivers. Examples of such houses can also be found in the Philippines, where people used to live in stilt houses built over water. Due to the high cost of living, however, the people of Brunei come here for fishing, living by the riverside, and seeking tranquility. Just as there is a mosque at the end of every alley, mosques have also been built for these water villages so that people do not have to travel far to perform their worship. One of the positive traits of the people of Brunei is that they are very hospitable towards tourists who come to visit their country. Just as they love their own country dearly, they are very eager to introduce their country to others as well. For example, when you intend to buy something from a shop, instead of selling that item, they try to give it to you as a gift. People here are very kind, but the towns lack vibrancy and you get tired of it very quickly. Here, live music and entertainment venues like bars and clubs are prohibited. As this country is known for its palaces and very grand buildings, one of the most luxurious hotels in the world, the 7-star Empire Hotel, is also located in Brunei. It is a luxurious venue for hosting officials from other countries as well as billionaires who come here from Arab countries. Due to the Muslim nature of this country, people from Arab countries visit here, and for this reason, you will see many signs in Arabic throughout the city. Generally, as Brunei, unlike countries like Thailand and the Philippines, has not provided conditions for entertaining tourists, European tourists do not travel to this country, and its tourism industry is based on tourists from Arab countries. Separated from other countries, the people of Brunei lead a life limited to themselves. Whatever the king says is law, and no one acts outside of it. You might ask, what do these people do for recreation? I must say, they get into their cars, cross the border, enter Malaysia, enjoy clubs there, and then return to their own country. In fact, Brunei is a country full of regulations that heavily interfere with the way of life and tastes of the people. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.